long of who's not here for Florida State, and the list is topped by the guy who was the backup to Jordan Travis, Tate Rodemaker, who's in the transfer portal. The good news is they have the offensive line intact as Glenn gets it complete right at that line to gain.
Well, I just like the timing here by Glenn, getting it out before Portier turned around on the curl. And that was something that I think Brock Glenn had some problems with in the ACC title game. He was just playing a bit slow. He wasn't anticipating throws, took some sacks when he didn't need to, but already the clock seems to be going off a little faster in his head.
7 yards to Portier. And this is Ja'Kai Douglas, who mostly has played receiver this year, but does have experience playing running back in the past.
You know, Jesse, Brock Glenn said he learned a great deal from that ACC championship a few weeks ago. He said the game is so much faster than in practice. He said I needed to get through my reads quicker and get the ball out faster. So that was his focus these last few weeks in preparation for Georgia. He wants to be more decisive today and trusts what he sees.
3 yards on that last play, Katie, from Douglas. And as this time there's not much there. He's tackled at the line of scrimmage, driven back. So Trey Benson, who's the speedy running back, he is opted out. Rodney Hill's in the transfer portal, another running back. And Toafili is injured. He was the MVP of the ACC championship game, so they've had to take some receivers and shift them to the back.
A lot of inexperience now out on the field to convert this third down. And remember, against Louisville, Florida State was only 2 of 16 on third down. A big reason why they just didn't have any threat in the vertical passing game. So already a massive test for Brock Glenn in this offense.
3rd down and 6. The freshman Glenn gets it out quickly, but it was thrown behind and over the intended target, Williamson.
You got to think Georgia comes into this game and they've seen all those guys that you just showed, Joe, that are opting out or jump in the portal. And they're going to try and stop the run, win early downs, and force Brock Glenn to have to beat them throwing the football.
Alex Mastromano, as he skies this down and takes a bounce inside the 30 and all the way down to the 20-yard line. So an excellent 60-yard punt from Mastromano. Carson Beck, over 72% of his passes completed. Big season in his first year, taking over for the 2-time national champion Stetson Bennett.
Well, and every single week you've seen this guy continue to improve and continue to make plays, which has really helped his confidence. The numbers are off the charts. That 72% completion percentage, that would be a school record. And it's impressive, Joe, because in Mike Bobo's offense, this is a vertical passing attack. They throw it down the field. His arm talent, his accuracy, just been sensational.
Kendall Milton able to break a tackle, lower the shoulder, and go ahead for 8 yards. Tackled by Thomas.
Well, I got to think Georgia's coming into this game wanting to run the ball. 5 guys in Florida State's front 7 are not, 5 starters in the front 7 are not playing in this game. So they're going to test them early.
And they do it with tempo. And Milton goes straight ahead, breaks another tackle, and keeps his footing out past the 40-yard line.
Yeah, the zone run is the bread and butter run for the Georgia Bulldogs. And you're seeing this offensive line right now very early. They're firing off the ball. They're climbing and getting into the second level. Hats on hats. And this Kendall Milton at 6'1", 220, he is a load to bring down, especially if he gets ahead of steam. You don't want to let him get started because he's hard to tackle.
14 yards from Milton. Cash Jones, the running back, who splits out. 4 receivers to the top. Carson Beck looks that way quickly, gets it to Smith as he's unable to hold on to it. Arian Smith, they'd love to get him into space with his pure speed.
Well, he's got tremendous speed, and normally when 11's on the field, something's up. Florida State's got to be ready for that. It's either going to be a deep shot or it's going to be a reverse or a screen, just trying to get number 11 Smith the ball in his hands. He's got to do a better job with his focus and concentration there.
Dejon Edwards now in at running back. Beck goes over the middle, gets it complete. Love it. Past midfield and yards after the catch. First down, Georgia. Greedy Vance able to make the tackle.
Well, Dominic Lovett's working one-on-one against Greedy Vance in the slot. Just an option route, going to break inside. So much suddenness and quickness from Lovett. Remember, he's a transfer from Missouri who was an all-SEC player a year ago, and he's been a huge weapon for Carson Beck working the middle of the field. 51 catches, 3 touchdowns this year for Lovett. 17 yards, 13 coming after the catch. Beck gonna wind it up. Ball was stripped. That was Patrick Payton, the lone remaining starter on that Florida State defensive line, with a sensational play. And he beat 2 tight ends on that one, Joe. That was awesome athleticism. He beat Oscar Delp at first, and then the true freshman Lawson Lucky tried to get him. But you're seeing the length of Patrick Payton at 6'5", 240 pounds. He's got those long arms. And I'll tell you, Georgia is really lucky that Payton didn't jump on his own fumble right there.
Well, the guy who was lucky is Lawson Lucky, who recovered it for Georgia.
That was almost a trifecta. Sack, force, fumble, fumble, recovery.
2nd and 20. They set up the screen, and another good defensive play as Omar Graham comes in and tackles Oscar Delp right away.
You've got to love the energy that this Florida State defense is playing with early. So many guys out of the game. They've got all these backups, and we talked about these young, talented players. That time, it's the redshirt freshman Omar Graham sniffing out the screen, now setting up 3rd in California.
Patrick Payton put Georgia in a hole, and now Carson Beck facing a 3rd and 22. Beck with time drives it over to Lovett. Lovett cuts back against the grain and is able to get inside the 35-yard line, where Conrad Hussey, the true freshman, who's getting the start at safety today.
And it's a bowl game, and it's 4th down. You're sort of in that no man's land, so you're expecting Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo here to go for it on 4th. Joe, they've been phenomenal on 4th down this year, completing 80%, which is 3rd best in the nation.
They got 19 yards when it was 3rd and 22, so now a 4th and 3. Back on 4th down, pressure up the middle, gets it out quickly, and it's incomplete. Looking for Dylan Bell. It's a turnover on downs. That Florida State defense steps up.